We must remember that today we are all one community, comprised of many races, religions, and ethnicities. Our diverse and storied history is what makes our country strong, and yet we still have so much to learn from one another. I urge people to come together in a civil manner so we can work and live up to our standard American ideals.
That was First Lady Melania Trump last night delivering what many described as a message of unity. The speech winning praise from many after some critics described the first night of the convention as dark. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy will be a keynote speaker tomorrow at the Republican convention. He joins us now. Thank you for being here this morning, sir. So what did you think as you watched the First Lady deliver that speech? Did she achieve that message of unity she set out to deliver?
She achieved it and beyond. I thought it was a beautiful speech, delivered perfectly from a new rose garden. I thought it was a great night last night from Daniel Cameron. You had Tiffany Trump as well. Each night has built, and it shows a good contrast between the Democrat convention and the Republican convention. One is looking forward, the other is looking backwards. We're talking about a vaccine instead of shutting the businesses down again. I mean, it's hopeful. It's meaning that tomorrow will be better than today and that we can find a common ground. And you saw so many new faces in the Republican Party. This is a very big tent with any American coming forward and how President Trump had listened to their voice, a different scenario than we've heard in the past with a better opportunity.
You know, she apparently even won over some critics with that speech, or at least got them to acknowledge or praise her in some way. David Brooks, New York Times opinion editor, told critics to stop scoffing when he saw the reaction to her speech. But there were some really dark, harsh criticisms out there. Congressman Bette Midler, who has attacked this administration before. Obviously, the performer attacked Melania over her accent. She's being highly criticized for what some say was a xenophobic attack on Melania. "Oh God," she tweeted, "she still can't speak English." She went after the First Lady's Be Best campaign, calling it a huge bore. She said, "Get that illegal alien off the stage." What do you think of that kind of criticism?
I think that hatred has no place in America. I think that's the worst of an individual to ever say something like that. And I think we saw from the First Lady rise above all those type of comments. Could you only imagine if this was a First Lady of a Democratic president, what Bette Midler would have said then? Can't we put that aside? Can't we put America first? The partisanship is too much when I see the criticism like that. And I applaud David Brooks for standing up really what is right. And that's the moment in time that we should. You've watched this First Lady time and time again put our country first and party last. And that's exactly what we saw last night. That's what her message was. And I truly believe that reached many more people. And I don't believe Bette Midler reached anybody. That was probably the lowest point of individuals of this country.
As far as Mike Pompeo's big moment, delivering his message from Israel, now Democrats want to, they say they feel he violated the Hatch Act with this. They're calling for a probe into his convention speech. But the White House has responded saying no taxpayer money was used for that. Nancy Pelosi's really going after him. Listen.
The image is something that's going to say, look at us. We're here in Israel making a speech to the Republican National Convention, violating our values in terms of the bipartisanship and our support for Israel, violating in many ways what he told his own employees.
So did you take any issue with this, Congressman?
None whatsoever. Mike Pompeo is probably one of the most effective Secretary of States. If anyone asked him for a video, you'd probably find it somewhere around the world because of his job. No taxpayer money was spent on this. This was on his own private time. But what Nancy Pelosi should be concerned about, spending taxpayer money, she has just spent taxpayer money on 68 Democrats who refused to show up to work last Saturday for an emergency meeting. But she still paid them with taxpayer money. That should be a bigger concern than anybody else, instead of Mike Pompeo on his own private time, spending no taxpayer money, giving a message about what America and what the world looks like today.
One of the other big speakers last night was Pam Bondi. Listen.
Ukrainian oligarch put Hunter on the board of his gas company, even though he had no experience in Ukraine or in the energy sector. He was paid millions to do nothing. He only had one qualification that mattered. He was the son of the man in charge of distributing U.S. aid to Ukraine.
So you can respond to that, Congresswoman, but you can also give us a hint as to what we will hear and see from you tomorrow night when you take the stage.
Well, I do think Hunter Biden is an issue for Joe Biden going forward. I saw that he did use him in the Democratic convention. But the one thing I didn't hear at the Democratic convention, what is their agenda? What are they for? I know they're against the president. I know they want to raise our taxes. And I know they want to defund the police. But how are we going to make tomorrow better? That means we have to move forward, not backwards. I'll talk about that. It also means about how are we going to rebuild this economy bigger than ever before? How will we renew the American dream? And how will we restore our way of life, securing our cities, making them safe again? I think that contrast alone will show why President Trump will earn 4 more years. And tomorrow is much, much better than what today will be.
I think we just got a preview of what we will see and hear from you. We appreciate your time this morning. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow night.